And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Glad you're able to join us. We have another exciting show on deck for you tonight. We'll be talking a bunch of lacrosse this evening as we head towards the season openers of those programs, and also men's and women's basketball coming down the home stretch. But first, before we get started, do want to thank our sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Really appreciate their support of the Tornadoes and the Tornado student athletes. Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, Egoff Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Salsaritas, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their support of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Well, do want to catch you up around the Tornadoes since we saw you last. Women's basketball, a big win on Saturday at the Bosch. This was a thriller, 71-68, came down to the final seconds, and the Tornadoes able to get that win. And with the win, clinching a trip to the postseason, second straight season that head coach Donald Hudson's club has head to the USA South Conference tournament, and a big accomplishment there for this year's team. The Tornadoes clinched the fourth spot in the tournament, which means they'll play in the first round against the fifth seed, still yet to be determined. Meanwhile, one more regular season game for women's basketball. That's at Huntington on Tuesday. And then on Saturday, mark your calendars because it's a busy day already around the Brevard College Tornado Athletics scene. But the USA South Conference tournament will be hosted here on the campus of Brevard College. First round matchup on Saturday. Opponent to be determined and time to be determined. So stay tuned to bctornadoes.com and also at BC Tornadoes on social media for those updates. But congrats to women's basketball. Men's basketball had a busy weekend as well. They defeated Huntington 87-80. That game was back on Friday afternoon. A loss over the weekend, but the Tornadoes then able to regroup, and they'll be heading to Piedmont, and they'll head to Demorest, Georgia tomorrow. And that is a critical matchup because the Tornadoes are right in the hunt for USA South Conference postseason play as well. And that Tuesday matchup, Brevard at Piedmont, will determine those standings in large part, that 4-5 area of the standings in the West Division. Meanwhile, the Tornadoes will host LaGrange 2 p.m. on Saturday. It's men's basketball senior day, so head on out to the Bosch for that one. We'll celebrate 4 men's basketball seniors. We'll talk to head coach Lee Burgess later in the show to tell you more about men's basketball. Baseball had their opening day at Gilcone Field, a festive occasion where new president of Brevard College, Bradley J. Andrews, threw out the ceremonial first pitch. The Tornadoes responded with an opening day sweep over Allegheny. And with that sweep, also an individual accolade. This is some breaking news coming across the wire this afternoon. Frankie Vasquez, the Brevard College Tornado freshman, was named USA South Rookie of the Week. So congratulations to Vasquez and the Tornadoes. The Tornadoes lost a thriller on Sunday, an 11-10 affair in 10 innings. Meanwhile, baseball will be back in action on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday this coming weekend when the Tornadoes host Washington and Lee at Gilcone Field. That's a 3-game series that begins on Saturday. Softball had an opening day sweep of their own over Carolina University, and an individual accolade for softball. Some more breaking news here. Abby Delp named USA South Conference Rookie Pitcher of the Week. So congratulations to Abby. And softball will be back in action versus Pfeiffer. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, at the BC softball field, a doubleheader versus Pfeiffer. Men's and women's tennis with a win at Johnson Wales in Charlotte on Sunday. And men's lacrosse, their season opener is right around the corner. We'll talk to head coach JD LeMay and a couple of his student athletes later in the show. Men's lacrosse will be hosting Ferrum at 2 p.m. on Saturday at LeMay Family Field. Women's lacrosse, its season opener just around the corner as well. That's on Saturday morning when the Tornadoes take on Sweetbriar at 10 a.m. on Saturday at LeMay Family Field. And with that, we're excited to bring in our first guest of the evening as we welcome into the program women's lacrosse assistant coach Roya Tahmassebi. Roya, Coach Roya, thank you for joining the program.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, what an exciting time for the women's lacrosse program, because we're counting down the days. We're in the single digits now as we start to approach this season opener versus Sweetbriar. And I know the team's been working really hard to prepare for this one. Can you tell us a little bit how preseason practice has gone, and are the Tornadoes going to be ready come Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, preseason practices have been really solid. The players are all showing up, good effort, good energy. Really excited for this Saturday.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. 10 a.m. on Saturday when the Tornadoes host Sweetbriar. And Coach Roya, tell us a little bit about this year's club. You know, what could Tornado fans expect when they come out to see the Tornadoes, whether it be style of play and, you know, some of the strengths of this year's team?
Yeah, I mean, this year you can definitely expect a solid unit on the field. We had a really strong freshman class that came in. Really excited to see how they do. I mean, we have freshman Emily in the midfield. Really excited to see how she kind of puts the energy into our attack and also defense. We have Lex, who's our freshman goalie. And I mean, being a freshman coming in and having that leadership in the back on defense is amazing to watch at practices. So really excited to see how that plays out in a game.
You mentioned freshmen making an impact. Is that a big transition for most freshmen as far as, you know, perhaps the speed of the college game compared to what they were used to in high school?
Definitely. I mean, the speed of the game at the college level is very different at high school, but the players have all made that transition very smoothly. They come to practice ready to go, high energy, high effort, and they're doing a really good job.
Now, we're inviting fans to come on out 10 a.m. What a way to kick off a busy day of athletics at Brevard College on Saturday. Check out the Tornadoes 10 a.m. this Saturday versus Sweetbriar. But for those who perhaps have never seen the sport of women's lacrosse, you know, it's still an emerging sport in a lot of ways, getting into the consciousness of the mainstream sports fan more and more each year. But for those who might be complete newbies, what would you recommend to them as far as what to maybe watch out there on LeMay Family Field and how to follow the action?
Yeah, I mean, lacrosse is new. It's growing. It's really exciting that we have fans out there. Say the biggest thing to look for is when our team gets the ball in the back of the net. I mean, starting off, that's the biggest thing. Really just watching ball movement down the field, watching our defense being a solid unit and denying the other attack any opportunity. Just really solid playing on both ends.
Yeah, and some fantastic student athletes the women's lacrosse team has year in, year out under the direction of yourself and also head coach Kristen Rosado, of course, who's been building this program here over several years. Academics and also community service, you know, a big part of the equation, and the women's lacrosse team year in, year out are leaders in that department. Can you talk about that, the well-rounded experience that you guys emphasize as a coaching staff?
Yeah, for us, I mean, community service is a big part of our program. We're not only trying to grow these players as athletes or, you know, students in the classroom. We're really trying to allow them to have experiences in our community. And we've been very lucky to have a lot of great organizations out there allow our team to come in and help out. Specifically right now, we're working with Rooster Head Farm, Free Rein, which is a therapeutic horse center here in Brevard, and the Boys and Girls Club down the road. And through that, the players are getting great opportunities, great resources, and we're only looking to expand the organizations that we're working with in the coming years.
Fantastic. Yeah, some excellent work around here in the Transylvania County area. And also the women's lacrosse team, by the way, this past season was named an academic honor squad by the Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Coaches Association, the IWLCA. So certainly, team wide, getting it done in the classroom as well. I know that's an emphasis of the coaching staff as well. Correct, Coach?
Yes. Yeah, no, we put a lot of effort into them as students, and it's really awesome to see them put that same effort that they're putting in on the field in the classroom.
Now, I would love to introduce you a little further to NATO Nation. And Coach, you made your way here to Brevard, North Carolina, the mountains of Western North Carolina. Most recently, you were at Colorado State University, the Pueblo campus. You're an alum and you were a standout women's lacrosse performer at Pacific University out west on the West Coast. So a little bit different, I would imagine, coming here, to the south and to the mountains of Western North Carolina. But would love to hear a little bit about your journey, both as a women's lacrosse player, ultimately getting into coaching, and then finding Brevard College.
Yeah, I started playing lacrosse at a really young age. Started when I was in about third grade. And from there, I've just had really solid coaches and mentors throughout it. From the first day that I picked up my stick, I loved the sport. And I have so much passion for the sport and growing it, even as a player. So played through high school, and that was in California. So growing up, kind of learning lacrosse from the West. And then moving up into Oregon was really awesome. My coach was a great mentor for me, both as a player and as a coach, and introduced me to the head coach at CSU Pueblo, Monica Potter, who's incredible. She's amazing at what she does. And I was really, in a good spot. And it was an amazing opportunity that I got to get into coaching right outside of college. And from there, just kind of want to keep pushing, exploring, seeing how lacrosse looks from all over. So it's kind of, it's really awesome to see how lacrosse is different everywhere. And being here and being mentored by Riz, she's an amazing head coach. She's an amazing mentor, and I'm really excited to be here.
Well, now that you've been here for a bit, you began your duties back in August of last summer. And so you've gotten to know the area, a beautiful area that we're blessed to have in our backyard here at Brevard College. And you've gotten to know the college itself and, certainly, the student athletes and the student body here and the staff and so forth. Tell us about your experience so far. What makes Brevard College a special place and how are you enjoying it?
Yeah, Brevard is amazing. Not just the school, but the community as well. From the first week that I stepped on campus, every single staff and faculty member has been incredibly welcoming, which has been really awesome. Kind of helps you get settled in, especially being kind of far away from where I'm used to. So the transition into Brevard was really easy. And the relationships that I'm making with other coaches, the relationships I'm making even with the professors here, everyone's just been super awesome and super welcoming. So it's been really nice to be here.
And then having worked on a more micro level, specifically with the women's lacrosse team, now that you know the team culture and you've gotten your feet settled with the team here, as you're talking to potential recruits, as you're talking to high school lacrosse student athletes, what are the sorts of things you're pointing out to them about Brevard College and Brevard College women's lacrosse?
Yeah, I'd say, definitely the biggest one is the relationships and the support that you'll have on campus. On top of that, outside of campus itself, being in the mountains, being surrounded by the trees, having Pisgah National Forest down the road is great, especially if you're into outdoors and hiking and all of that. It's just a really solid area to be in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're glad you found your way here, Coach Roya. Well, Coach, stick with us just a couple moments longer. We're going to bring in a few of your student athletes fresh off the practice field, by the way, that we saw the Tornadoes out there working hard at LeMay Family Field. As joining the building now, Grace Vaught and also Casey Collins. Coach, before we let you go, can you help introduce these two student athletes?
Absolutely. We'll start with Casey, who's incredible. One of our senior captains this year, she's actually been a captain for all 4 years that she's been here. Just a solid leader on and off the field. You'll definitely notice her when you come to our games. Incredible player. And Grace Vaught, another really strong player. I mean, since I've been here, she's grown as an athlete. She's grown as a person. It's exciting to see that process. And so 2 very solid people to have.
Yeah, we're looking forward to catching up more with these 2. Well, Coach Roya, we'll let you get back to your preparations for Sweetbriar. Once again, NATO Nation, come on out, see this outstanding women's lacrosse program in action. Their season opener on Saturday, 10 a.m. versus Sweetbriar at Islamel Family Field. Coach Roya Tahmassebi. Did I say that right, by the way? I think I butchered it that time. I want to make sure I got this right. Tahmassebi.
Yes.
Yes, Coach Tahmassebi. You can see my long last name on the screen here, and I have no excuse for getting any names wrong. So don't be shy to correct me. So glad to be joined out. Wait, Coach, hold on. One more student athlete has entered the building as well. So, Coach Roya, we're going to let you introduce Lexi Maclauchlin as well. Tell NATO Nation a little bit about Lexi.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about Lex a little bit before, but I mean, being a freshman coming in and having that starting goalie spot is huge. The efforts that she puts in at practice, the efforts she puts in everywhere is amazing. I mean, she's grown as a goalie since she's stepped on campus in the fall, and I'm just really excited to see her play this weekend.
Fantastic. Coach Roya, we'll let you go. Continue your preparations for this weekend. Thanks a lot for joining Tornado Talk. We'll see you at the Islamel Family Field come Saturday.
Yep.
All right, there she goes. And as Coach helped us introduce these 3 outstanding student athletes, in the upper right corner, Grace Vaught. Grace, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me, Phil.
And in the bottom right corner, familiar face to NATO Nation and viewers of Tornado Talk, Casey Collins. Casey, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks. Good to be here, Phil.
And making her Tornado Talk debut, the freshman goalkeeper from Georgia, Lexi McCarragher. Thanks for joining the show, Lexi.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, Grace, let's start with you. Let's get down to business first. You guys have been working hard, preparing for this opener on Saturday. You've been putting in all sorts of extra time, I know, so, probably dating all the way back to once, members of the team got here back in the fall semester. Now that it's finally time to play lacrosse against an opponent that isn't a Tornado, how does it feel to finally be here, game week?
It's really, really exciting. I think most of my excitement actually comes from, the past couple seasons because of COVID. Things have just been super weird, and it's really hard even in practice to have that high energy all the time because we're just really nervous about what's going to happen if the season's going to continue. So the promising season that we have so far is just super, super exciting to me.
Casey, I see you nodding your head. You've been through a couple of these rodeos already. How does it feel this week to finally have the season opener around the corner?
I'm just super excited. There's no energy like game day, and I'm just ready to have a full season again.
And Lexi, it'll be your first time, playing collegiate lacrosse. You've logged plenty of hours, with these student athletes to prepare for this moment. But you excited about your collegiate debut come Saturday?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. We can't wait to see you and, the other Tornado newcomers out there on the field. Grace, tell us about these newcomers, as far as, some of these new faces. They're making an impact already, it seems like.
Extremely quick, and I love it. I think bringing in new faces and new skills to a team like this is exactly what we needed. There's a different dynamic, and it just makes it so much more easy. Coming to practice and being with these girls every single day, it is a whole new ball game, and I love it, and I'm really, really excited.
And Grace, let's stick with you just a little more on the lacrosse side of things. You're listed as an attacker, so one of your primary functions certainly finding the back of the net. Can you talk about your offensive game and what your objective is every single game?
Oh, of course. So switching from being a defender my freshman year to being an attack player now, it's extremely different for me. So I'm actually still learning a lot of things daily. But it is really exciting to kind of switch it up and be able to play more And I'm trying to hold myself to a higher standard specifically for this season, just to step out more. I've been seeing myself, and even talking with the coaches, I'm seeing a little bit more of myself, which makes me extremely happy because hopefully the first couple games and like every game after that, I can just go for those goals and just get them all.
And Casey, speaking of position changes, you spent much of your career at the position that Lexi plays, goalkeeper, then moved into the midfield, selected to the All West Division team in 2021, also the All Sportsmanship team. Can you talk about that transition for you as far as going into the field?
Yeah, so that was a really interesting decision that Riz made, and it's turned out really, really well. In high school, I did play a season of defense on my club team, but I had been in the goal for, I think, about 10 years when Riz decided that I would be a good asset on the field and not just in the goal. It's been really fun to learn a new side of the game, and now I do get to say that I've played every position.
And Lexi, goalkeeper for the Tornadoes. Tell us a little bit about your history as a lacrosse player. Have you always played goalie? When did you get started with lacrosse?
I actually got started with lacrosse my freshman year of high school. I played one varsity game as a tackman, and I was in the goal ever since. So it's been about 4 or 5 years of being in the goal.
And can you tell our audience a little bit just what it's like to be a goalkeeper in the sport of lacrosse? It seems like you absolutely have to have your head on a swivel, be paying attention at all moments. You're watching, what seems like 1,000 things at once. Can you tell us exactly what it's like back there?
It's definitely interesting. You have to stay on your toes a lot. And like you said, your head is always on a swivel. You can see the entire field, so it's a lot to take in. It's a lot about footwork. It's a lot about tracking the ball. And it's a lot about getting your body behind that ball and just not caring if you get smacked.
Wow. Yeah, it's certainly the physical side of lacrosse, no doubt, a part of the equation as well. Well, would like to take things off the field a bit for our next round of questions. Grace, tell us a little bit about some of these community service projects. Your coach told us a little bit about some of the things you guys have been doing throughout Transylvania County, but you've been part of this program a few years yourself, and you know how important it is for the Tornadoes. But what have you guys been up to lately?
Lately, we've actually been at some farms. I know we do the Boys and Girls Club a couple of times. We just try to help out wherever we can, as much as we can. So whoever needs help during the week, if we can clean at the Boys and Girls Club for 30 minutes, we can do that. If we can move some hay at the farms, we can do that. We just want to be helpful in any way possible.
And Casey, community service, and when you're able to serve like that, it not only helps the recipient, the organization or the people you might be helping out, but it certainly helps you all too, right? Like it creates a certain spirit amongst the team. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We get together every week to do community service in season and out of season. And I think it's just one of the best team bonding things we do, because sometimes the things we do are not the most glamorous. Like sometimes we're shoveling the shavings out of a chicken coop, and that's just not very glamorous or exciting, but you're there doing it with your teammates, and you are like making jokes and having fun and building these connections with the community, which is just one of my favorite parts about the team.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, Casey, like when you guys are done with one of those afternoons or one of those projects, you must just be glowing, as far as, just sort of the feel-good nature of it all, and also the feeling that you were able to give back and help someone.
Definitely, especially with like Roosterhead Farms. I've been doing community service with the team there for I think 3 years now, so I know Jackie and Jay really well now, and just being able to help them and having like their love on us and us being able to love them back through some service.
And Lexi, of course, as a freshman new to the program this year, but have you been enjoying, sort of the team culture side of things and this emphasis on community service?
Yeah, I love it. I think it brings us together as a team and as a community. I've met a lot of people in Brevard's little community through community service and gotten a lot closer with my teammates.
All right, from the field to the classroom now. And Grace, tell us a little bit about your studies here at Brevard College. What are you majoring in, and what's your focus there?
So I am actually a music major and a psychology minor. I just recently changed it. Biology wasn't really working for me, and music therapy just rang in my ears, and everybody was like, hey, do it. Why not? So we are going the music therapy route. I am really excited though. So after I graduate, I'll probably stay here for a little bit to find like a practice maybe to just shadow a little bit. And depending on how grad school is looking, I might be a couple hours away. I might be super close by. So we'll see where it takes me there.
Fantastic. Grace, we haven't had the chance to talk to too many music majors here on Tornado Talk, but a fantastic music program here at Brevard College, a beautiful facility in the Porter Center. And I know there's all sorts of opportunities for students. Can you tell us a little more what that's like, being part of a program as strong as Brevard College, all these resources, all these bright professors?
It's really amazing. I am blown away every single day by how incredible these professors are and how open they are with helping and being there for you and making sure you have everything you need. Especially as a student athlete, we have to work around those things as well because schedules are a really, really big part of all this. So it's just nice to have people who can work around the things that you are passionate about and that you want to do. And it's just really nice to have people who actually care.
And Grace, we had the benefit of having you help us with the national anthem before football games, a couple of basketball games as well. Can you tell us about that as far as you as a singer?
Of course. Normally it's pretty nerve-wracking to sing in front of a bunch of people, but at football games it's a little bit easier because I'm basically looking at the back of everyone's heads and no one's really facing me, so it makes it a little bit easier. But it's really fun to just be there and be present in the moment singing, even if it's the same thing over and over. I love it.
All right. We appreciate that, Grace. And thank you for being able to bring your talents to those sporting events here on Brevard College campus. It really, helps as far as the big event feel of some of our events. All right, Casey, I'd love to hear about you. You're headed towards the finish line here, senior year and so forth. Tell us about your studies, what might be on the horizon and what you've been working on in the classroom.
Yeah, I am a double major in wilderness leadership and environmental science. And I'm also a double minor in geology and ecology. So I spend a lot of time in the science building. And I've just had so much fun with all of my classes and all of my professors. But I am graduating and I have a job for this summer. I'm going to be the assistant adventure director at a local camp that I've been at for 4 years now.
Outstanding. Congrats on that. And tell folks a little bit more about the Wilderness Leadership Program, also known as Willie, here on campus. Just what is that like to be a major in that program?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, it's so much fun and I've had such a blast doing it. But it is a program that trains outdoor leaders. So we do a lot of skill development through backpacking, rock climbing, whitewater paddling, as well as a lot of education development. We develop people into teachers and leaders, leadership theory, education theory, and a lot of practice, lots and lots of lesson plans, lots and lots of teaching, and lots of practice leading. I'd say the biggest facet of the Willie program is the immersion semester, which is an intensive 17 credit hour semester that really focuses on leadership and teaching development.
Very good. Appreciate that, Casey. Now, Lexi, new to Brevard College, of course, so don't expect you to have it all figured out quite yet, but have you zeroed in on a major? And tell us about your studies.
Yeah, actually I'm a board major with an art minor. I want to be a tattoo artist, so.
Very cool. And board, for those who may not know, is the business major here at Brevard College, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Very good. Well, ladies, we're going to let you all go because we've got a loaded potato of a program here at Tornado Talk, and do want to wish you all the best this weekend. But before we let you go, always want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous each of you may have, anybody who may be watching the program or just may have helped you along the way. Grace, shout outs or thank yous?
Yes, my beautiful family, my incredible teammates who make it worth coming to practice every single day, and my coaches, all my friends. If you are watching, if you are not, I love you all. Thank you, Phil, for having me.
Very good. Well done, Grace Vaught. And Casey Collins, same opportunity for you.
Yeah, just a big shout out to my coaches and all of the athletic staff for making this season as normal as we possibly can and for giving us the opportunity to play. huge shout out to my parents watching, and I'm just so excited to get playing on Saturday. Thanks for having us, Phil.
Outstanding. We're excited to see you come Saturday. And Lexi, shout outs or thank yous?
I want to shout out my coaches for sure for never giving up on me, and to my teammates for sticking with me while my knee is healing. To my friends and my boyfriend watching, happy Valentine's Day, and to my parents back home. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's Lexi Maclauchlin, Casey Collins, and Grace Vaught from the Brevard College women's lacrosse team. These ladies will be in action come Saturday, 10 a.m. versus Sweetbriar at LeMay Family Field. Come on out and represent and cheer on these outstanding student athletes. Ladies, thanks for joining the program. All right, and with that, we're going to shift gears quickly here and talk some men's lacrosse because their opener is just around the corner as well. And we're going to invite into the program men's lacrosse head coach J.D. LeMay. And as he enters Tornado Talk studio here, Coach LeMay, thanks for joining the program.
Hey, Phil, thanks for having me.
Well, looking forward to seeing the team in action come Saturday. Can you give us a glimpse behind the curtain, what preseason preparation has been like and preparation for this game in specific, Saturday versus Ferrum?
Yeah, I mean, again, if most of you don't know, I'm pretty new to Brevard. I mean, I got hired in November, so I missed the whole fall season with this team. So we've been full go for the last three and a half weeks, getting ready, implementing what I want to implement, and seeing what the skill we have going into this season. So I think going into Saturday, we're ready. Guys are itching. They're ready to get back out on the field and show what we can do. I mean, if you see on social media and stuff, we got preseason polled last in the conference. That's not the plan. We hope to finish a lot higher than that, but we got to come out and prove it Saturday afternoon.
And Coach, now that you've had some time to get to know your roster here at Brevard College and spend time with them on the practice field at LeMay Family Field, tell us a little bit about the makeup of the roster. What are the strengths of this year's team?
So we're pretty young. On the roster right now, we have about 3 seniors. You'll meet one of them later on in the show, but we're young. We're heavy sophomore freshman class, and it's good. I mean, we got room to grow, and our sophomore freshmen coming in are pretty talented. So in the past, I mean, we've been around maybe 2-3 talented athletes, but I think we're spread out this year. We got some strong athletes on both sides of the ball, midfield, defense, attack, and our face-off specialist is pretty good as well. So it's going to be exciting to see what we can do together as a team and bring those talents together. So I'm excited to see how Saturday turns out.
In the match on Saturday versus Ferrum, one of several opportunities for Tornado fans to catch the Tornadoes in action on the men's lacrosse front. Coach, can you tell us a little bit about the design of this year's schedule? A lot of home opportunities.
Oh, yeah. I think the schedule is designed to challenge us. We do have some good competitors on it, but I think we can compete with everybody we see. But that just depends on us. We got to come out and play our game each week and do what we're supposed to. If we don't, then we're going to lose some games that we're not supposed to. But it all depends on us and me as a coach to put us in the right position to be successful. I think we can have a great year. And like you said, we have 10 home games. It's the most we've ever had in program history, and we're excited to show everybody what we can do on our home field. So we're excited to get that started, especially this weekend.
Outstanding, Coach. Well, you mentioned, this is your first season here at Brevard College. You spent the last 4 seasons at Missouri Valley College. Now that you've gotten settled in here at BC, tell us about your experience on a more personal level, and what are the things you like about Brevard College, and how are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, of course. So again, I got here in November, and again, being here in November, we got 2 breaks. We got Thanksgiving, and then we were right into Christmas break. So for the short time that I've been here, I've fallen in love with the place. I mean, again, Western North Carolina, right in the mountains, it's beautiful. I mean, being from New York, they just got snow the other day, and we're outside practicing in 60-degree weather. So I'm enjoying the weather. It's nice, but it's a good atmosphere. I mean, the campus is beautiful. Like you said, we got the mountains surrounding us, but the atmosphere between the faculty and staff, the teachers, it's a family atmosphere. Everybody's opening and welcoming. Very nice group of people to be around. So I'm enjoying it so far, and I love it.
And I would imagine, plenty of things to offer to recruits and prospective men's lacrosse student athletes. It's a sport that's very big in certain parts of the country, especially up in the Northeast. And you mentioned the weather. I'm sure that's a plus to come down to a place like here.
Oh yeah. Again, growing up in New York and playing in New England, we wouldn't have been able to play this weekend. It's just the weather's too cold and the snow. So being down south, being able to get started this early, and again, right now the forecast shows 55 and sunny for Saturday. So it's going to be beautiful weather for lacrosse, and you can't do that up north. It's below 20s and you're playing in snow, but that's a huge draw to here. And again, just the facilities we have and where we're located is what draws recruits here. And again, the weather's it's to live for. So I'm excited to be here, and again, we're looking forward to the beautiful weather we have coming up.
Coach, I had this question for Coach Roya. Men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse are, really very different sports in
Yep.
a lot of ways. And I know we talked about this a little bit a while back. However, it goes without saying, there's a lot of folks who just don't know, the nuances and the intricacies of a sport like men's lacrosse, and some of whom have never seen a game live necessarily. Can you tell folks a little bit, for the layman, what the sport's all about, perhaps what to look for if you're coming out to LeMay Family Field for the first time?
Yeah. Again, you got men's and women's lacrosse. They share the same name, but they're basically two different sports. The only similarity is you put a lacrosse ball in the back of the net. But for men's lacrosse, it's very fast. It's like hockey. It's as physical as hockey as well. So you got to combine of hockey, soccer, and I say basketball in there too, with certain formation, pick and rolls, things like that. So if you like a high contact, fast sport, lacrosse is for you. It's very interesting to watch. You just got to pay attention because it's so quick that you can lose where you're at in a game just like that. So if you've never been out, by all means, come out. Again, we got 10 home games to come check it out. Hopefully by that 10th game, you'll understand what's going on. But there are plenty of fans and parents in the stands that are more than welcome to tell you exactly what's going on if you don't know what you're looking for. So, but it's a fast, high-paced game and very physical. So if that's what you're into, by all means, we'd love to have you out to watch.
Yeah, you mentioned the physical part and equating it to hockey. Can you talk a little bit about the actual equipment that these players wear on the field? Because while it's physical, you also need to make sure you keep these players healthy and safe.
Yeah. When it comes to equipment, it's very little. We wear a shoulder chest pad. It's a lot smaller than you would get from a football or hockey chest pad. A lot of the padding's more on the chest area just to protect for shots. That's a big thing of getting hit right in the chest from somebody shooting a 100-mile-an-hour shot. And then you really just wear like thin elbow pads and gloves and a helmet. That's really about it. So kids are walking off the field with bruises all over. So it's a physical sport. You got to be tough in the head and a tough-minded individual to get out there and experience it. But little padding and a lot of pain. So, but it's a fun pain. So, and then when it comes to goalies wear little pads. So, like I said, 100-mile-an-hour shots, goalies, all they have are chest pads and helmets on. Nothing really on the legs, covering the legs, but there's got to be something going on in your head if you decide to be a lacrosse goalie. But when it comes to the equipment, there's not much to it. And again, it's just as physical as hockey is.
And you mentioned goalkeeping. Coach LeMay was a goalkeeper. He was a 4-year member of Mitchell College in Connecticut, set all sorts of records there in front of the net. Can you tell us a little more, just kind of the mentality and the wherewithal that it takes to be an effective goalie?
It's like I said, there's something got to be going on up in your head if you decide to stand in front of a 100-mile-an-hour shot. Now, the balls aren't as hard as a baseball, but it's solid rubber. But again, I will never ever go back to playing another position. I love the position. Just the adrenaline rush that you get in that position. But going off that, the adrenaline is what helps the pain during the game. After the game, ice baths are goalie's best friend. But during the game, that adrenaline rush, I think I lost you, Phil. There you are.
Yeah, appreciate that, Coach, hanging with us there through that little technical difficulty. But yeah, certainly playing goalkeeper, a challenging spot altogether. How much is the goalkeeper kind of the captain of the defense and so forth? You see that a bunch, especially in soccer, where the goalkeeper, is sort of instructing his teammates and all that. Can you talk about the leadership role of that position as well?
Yeah, so for lacrosse, we basically call him the quarterback of the defense. He's demanding out formations, where the ball is, things like that, because he sees everything. He's tracking the ball everywhere it goes. He sees where his defenders are lined up, and he's putting them in the right position to make his job easier as a goalie, and his job as his defenders easier. So he's the quarterback. He's demanding where he wants his defenders and where to push the ball, things like that. So you need a goalie that's very vocal and wants to take control, because that's a quarterback position, and you need to be vocal. You can't have a quiet goalie. It's tough because the defenders don't know what's going on at all time. They're always just focused on ball, and they don't know what's going on backside, things like that. So you need a goalie that's open, willing to communicate, and command the defense. That's the quarterback of the defense. So you need some good leadership back there.
That makes a lot of sense, Coach. Before we bring in a couple of your student athletes, do you want to just give you the opportunity one more time to, help us promote this Saturday's game and the season ahead? A message to NATO Nation?
Come out and support. That's what I say. I mean, we're excited to get back out on the field. I know it's been a while since we've been out there for a home game. Like you said, 2:00 against Ferrum. I think Ferrum is a talented team. I think we match up great against them, but again, we come out and do our job. I think we can walk away with a win, but that's all up to us. So we're excited to get out there on Saturday.
Outstanding. Sounds like preparation is right on schedule for the Brevard College Tornadoes men's lacrosse team. Coach, stick with us just a moment further here. We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes to the program as entering the studios now. Finnegan McCormack in the bottom right corner and Devin McCarragher on the bottom left. Coach, help NATO Nation get to know these two a little further.
Yeah, so we'll start off with Devin. Devin's a senior captain. As we were just talking about, he is our senior captain goalie. So a lot is going to be on his back this year to run the defense, things like that. But he's been in this program for the last 4 years. He knows some of the athletes that he's been playing with, and he knows what I'm looking for as a goalie this year. And then in the bottom right, we got Finn. Finn's a freshman midi. He's also our faceoff specialist. We're excited to see what he can do this year. He's a talented kid coming down south. Again, talking about being up north, he's from PA, so again, it's cold up there. So coming down and playing the nice 60-degree weather, we're excited to see what he can do this year. So excited to get both these guys out on the field and get going.
Very good. Well, Coach, best of luck this weekend. We'll see you out there at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Thanks for taking some time to let NATO Nation in on what's going on with men's lacrosse. We can't wait to see you guys in action.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there he goes, head coach JD LeMay. And as Coach LeMay helped us introduce these two, joined by senior goalkeeper Devin McCarragher. Devin, thanks for joining the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And also with us, Finnegan McCormack, the freshman midfielder. Finn, thanks for joining the program.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, Devin, let's start with you. We talked to your coach quite a bit to help preview this season. And as he mentioned, you've been around. Tell us about preseason preparation, how things have been going, and what do you think about this year's club heading into this big 2022 season?
We got a good group of talented guys. We're trying to push that 10 win on the 10 wins on the season. We've never done it before. Closest we came is 9, and that's our big goal, is to hit 10 wins this year and take it to the conference playoffs.
Fantastic. And Finnegan McCormack, a freshman, so new to the program, but I see you guys around campus. You guys are a tight group, and you guys have been working hard ever since the fall semester. Does it feel good to finally have game week upon us?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's nice that, the countdown's less than 30 days now. We're 5 days away. It's a big time. And just the group of guys that we have is just so nice that we can all be together. And this countdown means a lot. We've all been looking forward to it so much.
Yeah, and so I'm sure you'll be taking in every moment, but laser focused at the same time, come Saturday with that matchup against Ferrum. Tell us specifically as far as, practice as of late, what are, the kind of things you guys have been working on, Finn?
So I'd say preparation and like mental preparation is a big thing. I mean, repetition and just getting our stick skills where they need to be to perform where we need to perform. I mean, it's going to be a battle like it is always. I mean, it's your first game of the season. You're going to see who does what, who does like what best. And it's just you're trying to get to a position to be able to win. And I think with all the practice and work and what we put in, we can easily get there.
And Devin, senior goalkeeper, we talked to your coach quite a bit. He's got that goalkeeping background as well. Tell us a little bit about, a day in the life as a men's lacrosse goalkeeper. What's it like back there?
A lot of pain. Like Coach says, get hit a lot. Not too many times it feels too good at practice. There's not really much adrenaline going like as a game would be. So like game wise, like you really don't feel anything. They just bounce off. But practice kind of will get you beat up real quick because it's a lot of shooting drills. So like we're catching a lot more shots in practice than we would in a game, but try and use my stick to catch most of the shots instead of my body.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And Devin, Coach also talked about how you're the quarterback of the defense as well. Can you talk about that part of the equation?
Yeah. So like you just want to be vocal and loud. So you're basically like the general on the field, and you got to tell everybody what's going on because not all the times you're going to be looking at who has the ball. So you have to be aware of what's going on the off side of the ball. So just have to talk very loud, very clear, so everybody else knows what's going on and we're all on the same page and keep your head on the swivel.
Finnegan McCormack, freshman midfielder from Milford, Pennsylvania, Delaware Valley High School. Finnegan, I'd imagine lacrosse is a pretty big deal up your way, correct?
Yeah, that is definitely correct.
So that being said, when did you start playing lacrosse and, how much has it been a part of your life and for how long?
I mean, I'd say I probably started around 5 or 6, which is a lot different than a lot of my friends here. But I'd say I was a dual spring athlete. I was a lacrosse and baseball, which now I look back and I think it was a little waste of time. But I ended up dropping baseball around like middle school and took lacrosse way more serious in middle school. And I played like club ball all the time because, I mean, it's a lot bigger up there. So it's not hard to find places to go.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's just around every corner up there and part of the culture. Meanwhile, Devin, out of Sharpsburg, Georgia, lacrosse is a growing sport, in the Southeast, getting bigger every single year. But can you tell us a little bit about your background and maybe the lacrosse scene from your hometown?
Yeah, so I originally started playing lacrosse in 9th grade, but I've always had a stick since around like middle school. So I've always had friends who played lacrosse, but I got into it 9th grade. I was actually a midfielder and attackman when I first started playing. And then so I feel like that also translates to my style of play in the cage, but it's definitely a booming sport in Atlanta. A lot of big looks are coming out of Atlanta. Big recruits are coming out. It's one of the biggest hotbeds in the South.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. A market like Atlanta would catch on, and that's great to hear that it's on the rise in a place that close to us here in the mountains of Western North Carolina as well. Well, Finnegan, tell us a little bit about your experience here at Brevard College thus far off the field. What are you studying, and how do you like it so far?
I love it. I mean, the small class sizes are something that really worked for me, because I went to a huge high school. So coming into smaller class sizes where I can actually like pay attention and focus a lot more is a lot easier. And right now I'm a physics and math major, so I'm double majoring. And honestly, I think the small classes make those really difficult classes a lot easier.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And glad you're realizing that benefit of a small school like Brevard and the small classroom and that emphasis on that style of education. Meanwhile, Devin, a senior, so you're heading towards the finish line here, graduation not too far off. Tell us about your studies and if you've got an eye on something on the horizon as well.
I'm a criminal justice major. I graduate in the spring. Not really sure on the plans possibly going into law enforcement. Just gotta check some things off the list, make sure I do what I want to do, and follow the right career path.
All right. Well, we've got a men's lacrosse game on Saturday at 2 p.m., which will kick off the Tornado season. So I want to give you each the opportunity to help us promote and do a little salesmanship for this game. I want to hear from each of you why fans should come on out and see this year's version of Brevard College, not just to see the exciting sport of lacrosse, but to see you and your teammates in specific. Finnegan, why should fans come on out on Saturday?
I think this year we put together something really special, and it's not going to be like one of those games where you're walking away just like, why did I come here? Like, we are going to put on a show, and we're going to make it worth your while to come out, and we're going to win games, and then we're going to make it so everybody wants to come to the game.
Well said. Devin, same opportunity for you.
Yeah, just like come out and support us. It's going to be a very good physical game. It's going to be a lot of bodies dropping, and we love when the fans get little chirps in there onto the other teams, get in their heads. It's real nice. It's something we love here at Brevard. If you've attended any game in the fall, we love doing it. So just come out here and support us.
Yeah, and that's one aspect of Brevard College that's awfully cool. And Devin, love to hear from you on this as well. Athletes from different sports supporting each other. You go out to any given game, regardless of sport, and there's a bunch of student athletes from other sports there creating that home field or home court advantage. Plus, in some ways, even, working behind the scenes, I know the men's lacrosse team, for several seasons have helped us with our football operations on the athletic department and sports information side. Devin, can you talk a little bit about that, dynamic as far as athletes supporting other athletes and other sports?
Yeah, so at Brevard, each team's kind of designated like a, I guess you could say like a brother team or something that you would help support. Like, we help football and we film their games. We put on help with a live stream and record stats. And then the football team usually comes out and helps us prepare the field and just run the box and stuff like that for us. So like, it's very supportive. Like, they help us. So we all help each other here.
Yeah, we really appreciate you all's help behind the scenes during that football season. That was a lot of fun making those broadcasts and stats operations a reality. So appreciate that. Well, before we let you go, do want to give you each the opportunity, any shout outs or thank yous you may have. Finnegan McCormack, the freshman midfielder from Milford, Pennsylvania. The floor is yours.
I want to thank my parents. I mean, my parents have always been a big driving factor, especially like my dad and my mom. They just really drove me, because I mean, college is always something to look forward to, and they pushed me to where I needed to be to get myself in a position to be successful.
And Devin McCarragher, the senior goalkeeper from Sharpsburg, Georgia. Shout outs or thank yous?
I'd just like to thank my family and my good friends Raheem and Steve Trejo.
Very good. Well, we can't wait to see you all in action. It all starts this Saturday, 2 p.m. versus Ferrum. As Coach mentioned, 10 home opportunities this year to see the Tornadoes at Islamel Family Field. We'll be following you all every step of the way. Devin and Finn, thanks for joining the program.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. So we've previewed women's lacrosse and men's lacrosse, and now it's time to talk basketball as these two sports are heading down the home stretch, men's and women's basketball. We're going to start on the men's side of things as we're inviting into the program now head coach Lee Burgess from the men's basketball team. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the show.
Absolutely. Always good to be here.
Well, Coach, before we get on what's on the plate for this week, do want to review a exciting win on Friday afternoon, a odd game time, playing a game on a Friday afternoon. However, the Tornadoes able to get the win over Huntington. Catch folks up on that one, Coach.
Yes, an odd start time, like you mentioned, 2 o'clock afternoon game. This was a reschedule from a game in mid-January. Huntington had some COVID issues, so we weren't able to play at our originally scheduled time. So this was really the only date that we could find that would work. Huntington was on their way up to Berea to play Berea on Saturday, so they stopped in here and played on Friday afternoon. We were going to have to play Covenant the next day. So we wanted to play as early as we could to try to give as much rest as we could to ourselves for the next game. So, yeah, it was different. I met Huntington for their shoot around Friday morning, and left campus and was driving and saw LB and Charles, and they had just got done taking an art history test, and here we are going to have a game here in a few hours. So that was a little different. Don't usually have stuff like that, but proud of our guys for their response. We played really well. We came out with really good energy and focused in on scatter report stuff, and played well offensively, shot the ball well, and really had a great game. Had a pretty complete game, which was fun to see and fun to be a part of, and a good win for us. That gave us a sweep over Huntington on the season and our 4th win in league play. So it was a good one, knowing that we had a very quick turnaround coming the next day against Covenant.
And Coach, one number in particular jumps off the stat sheet, which is a 59-point bench scoring effort. A big contribution from the reserves. I know you've been going deep on the bench all season as far as your rotation, but to have that kind of output, what a dynamic for the Tornadoes.
It is. We've got a lot of guys we can count on. And some of those guys that came off the bench against Huntington have started for us this year, and some of the guys that were started against Huntington have come off the bench. And we've got a lot of guys that we can count on, which is great to have for a number of reasons. That as a coach, you do love to bring firepower off the bench and not go through lulls offensively or defensively when you go to that substitution rotation. But number two, we shouldn't have anybody on our team that feels like, all right, if I don't show up and get 25 tonight, we're going to be in trouble. We don't have a situation like that because we've got a lot of guys that can contribute. So it is a good thing, and I think it makes it more challenging for the other team to prepare as well. It's hard to key on, you can key on 1 or 2 guys, but we've got 7 or 8 that can go, get buckets when we need to. So yes, that was a great thing to have, and something that we've enjoyed having this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Tornadoes had to play basically a back-to-back situation the very next afternoon versus Covenant. Not the result you wanted, Coach, but I'm sure, let's learn some things and leads us up to what's next.
Yeah, I mean, we showed up to play. When we played at their place, we had a really, really poor 10, 12-minute stretch that kind of overlapped the end of first half, beginning of second half. And I think it really took our spirit up there or down there or over there, whichever way geographically is correct, over there, which was disappointing. As a coach, you never really like to see that. It just took our spirit, and we weren't as competitive as we needed to be, and talked about that and how we needed to be better at that. I felt like we showed up against Covenant at our place. Covenant played really well. We did not shoot it well enough. We didn't play well enough, and it's a tough matchup for us. They've got some really, really good players that are difficult for us to match up with, and that was a big part of that game. But I felt like we competed throughout. Again, like you said, not the result, but pleased that we stood in the fight, for the full 40 minutes.
Which leads us to a game tomorrow at Piedmont in Demorest, Georgia. And this one's huge in terms of the USA South Conference standings. A look at the standings: Maryville, Covenant, LaGrange, 1, 2, 3, and then neck and neck, Brevard and Piedmont, just a half game between the two teams at the moment. Coach, obviously stakes are high in this one, but can you talk, practically as well? What are the keys to a win tomorrow at Piedmont?
Well, they beat us at our place. Jordan Foote went off for 32 points. He had a very, very good game. And so that's going to be a key for us. We've got to find a way to defend him better and not have him be quite so efficient. Because they beat us here, a win by them gives them a sweep on us, and any kind of tiebreaker would go to them. So this is a massive game, like you said, in terms of us being in a position for a conference tournament berth. We were tied at the half here, and the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half was pretty much neck and neck. And we had a really bad 5-6 minute stretch where they got some separation, and we never could quite get it back from there. We shot it better in the first half, and talked to our guys today about We want to be aggressive. They play a funky zone. It's a weird zone. It's a unique zone that nobody else plays. Shots are going to come open a little bit differently than typical zones we're accustomed to. And we've got to step up and be able to knock them down, but then also be conscious that we're not just so three happy that the only thing we're shooting is 3-point shots. Sometimes against their zone, that can be challenging because that's what's open. And the paint is not, and it's hard to throw the ball in there, or it's hard to drive in there and get good looks around the basket. So we're going to have to be smart about that. If shots are going in, then everything's great. But if shots aren't going in, we can't be so reliant on just the 3-point shot that basically is what undoes us. So again, it's not the easiest thing to navigate because a lot of times that's what's open. And we talk to our guys all year, hey, step up and shoot them with confidence, step up and shoot them with confidence. And so we still want to keep that mindset, but we got to find ways to get some paint touches as well.
Well, a big one tomorrow, folks, at Piedmont for the men's basketball team. And keep posted to bctornadoes.com, also BC Tornadoes on social media. We'll be keeping you updated as far as all the conference tournament scenarios as well. And meanwhile, Saturday, back here at the Bosch, Senior Day versus LaGrange at 2 p.m. Hope you can join us for that one. It'll be a special afternoon where 4 seniors, Luke Blaynott, Hayden Castle, Alex Glaze, and Alex Wessig, are all honored in a pregame ceremony. Coach Burgess, I know you've been a part of a lot of these, and it's always a special moment when you're able to honor the seniors. Another great class for the Tornadoes here.
It is. Hayden and AG have been with us for a long, long time. And, Hayden's had a big role on this team in terms of on the floor, what he's brought to the table for several years now. And Luke has been with us 3 years, transferring in, and minimal action on the floor until this year, but has really worked hard to get himself on the floor and contribute a lot this year. And then Alex Wessig transferring in. This is his second year with us, and COVID was a little bit different year, so fans really only seeing him for the first time this year. But all these guys that have been with us multiple years now, especially guys that have been with us for a long time, this program's in a different place than it was when they got here. We're not eligible for postseason play when they walked in the door. And now we are, and we're into the last week of the season, and we control our own destiny here in the last week of the season, to make the conference tournament or not. And so to have meaningful games like this in February is awesome. It's what college basketball is all about this time of year. And we haven't really been able to experience that because of COVID and the transition and all that stuff. We haven't really played these meaningful games in February that a lot of people are. So this is exciting for us. It's new for us. It's exciting. And so our guys are going to be through the roof tomorrow. And I'm sure they'll be through the roof on Saturday as well. But to have these meaningful games this last week of the season, it's what college basketball is all about this time of year. And these seniors that we're going to be honoring on Saturday have had a very, very large impact of helping us get to this point.
Yeah, so come on out, folks. 2 p.m. Saturday when the Tornadoes host LaGrange. That'll be Senior Day. Once again, Luke Blaynott, Hayden Castle, Alex Glaze, and Alex Wessig will all be honored for that one. And as you mentioned, Coach, we're watching these standings, every single moment after every single USA South Conference game. That isn't something we've been accustomed to doing necessarily. It's created a lot of buzz and excitement, throughout the offices here on campus. A final message for, NATO Nation and all your supporters as we head towards this final week of the regular season.
Yeah. Whatever happens tomorrow, nothing is going to be set in stone. Both teams control their own destiny. A win doesn't lock us in a place. A loss doesn't knock us out, but it's certainly going to have a huge, huge impact. Point being, Saturday still can have a massive implications on postseason. And so for a couple of reasons. Number one, let's come honor these seniors. Number two, this might be a hugely impactful game for us in terms of conference tournament. So come out Saturday. Let's honor these seniors the right way. Let's make a great home court advantage for for us. It might have a significant bearing on postseason for us. So if that's the case, I know our guys are going to be excited and they feed off the energy. So come out, show up, make lots of noise, and we will see what happens.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on the show this evening, Coach, and best of luck tomorrow at Piedmont. We'll see you back here at the Bosch later in the week.
Great. Thanks, Phil.
All right, there he goes, head coach Lee Burgess from the men's basketball program. We're going to quickly shift gears and turn the page to women's basketball. And joining the program this evening, once again, head coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining the show.
What's going on, Phil? Always a pleasure, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, no doubt. In exciting times, across NATO Nation and across all of our sports here on campus. But, women's basketball over the weekend, wow, a 71-68 thriller over Huntington to clinch the second consecutive USA South Conference postseason trip for the Tornadoes. Coach, that had to be a gratifying Saturday afternoon, to not only clinch the postseason, but to get a hard-fought win like that over Huntington.
Yeah, it was. It was. And it started with our senior day. We always want to make sure we honor our seniors the right way, and that the underclassmen do a really good job of showing appreciation. I don't know everyone saw the posters, everyone that they made of the seniors with the baby pictures and everything and decorating the locker room. So it started right there. And shoot around was very spirited. It was a very high energy day. Everyone knew a lot rode on that game as far as the postseason for us and for the opposing team, Huntington. But it was a thrilling game, Phil. Like you said, it was a game where neither team was really able to establish a huge lead. I think both teams kind of did some things okay. They started to make some threes later in the third quarter, early in the fourth, and that cut into our lead. Our transition D wasn't great. I thought our half-court defense was okay in the first half. We started to break down in our zone some, went to man-to-man in the fourth quarter. They took a 5 or 6 point lead, I want to say, around 4.5, 5 minutes. We called a timeout, talked about it, remained poised, and we made a run ourselves. Went on a really nice run to close that game. And the atmosphere was great. I want to make sure I thank everyone that came in and was a part of that. Those defensive chants that we were getting on those last 2 possessions, Phil, that gym hasn't sounded like that in a long time, man. And then I've been a part of a lot of basketball games here, playing, coaching as an assistant and as a head coach, and the atmosphere was tremendous. That was right up there with any other game that I've been a part of here. Thrilling win for the team. Got into the postseason for the second straight year. We just want to continue to go forward. Continue to do the right things and continue to press on, Phil.
Yeah, Coach, that's right. Tornadoes were down 64-59, just a little under 5 minutes remaining, and then Tornadoes close out on a 12-4 run. Big stops down the stretch, and big plays on the offensive end as well. And if you haven't had the chance, NATO Nation, check out BC Tornadoes social media, and if you click on the available videos, you'll see those final moments, and you'll also see that Boshemer Gymnasium rocking and rolling. What a difference, Coach, it does in fact make. Would like to shift to the seniors who you mentioned as well. The senior class of Avery Lockwood, Melvia Seymour, and Taisha Washington all honored in the special pregame ceremonies. Special group, Coach.
It is. It is. I can talk about each of them individually just for a little bit. I won't take too much time. And I'll start with Taisha. Taisha Washington came in with the group that graduated last year. She had some things happen and she couldn't return to school last year, but she chose to come and finish out this season with us and got off to a good start. Phil, she got off to a really good start this year. We knew having her come back was going to kind of put everyone at ease. She does a really good job of setting the table for everyone. She's a really good defender, shoots the ball well, and her confidence level kind of exudes through the team. But unfortunately, we lost her to a knee injury, but she's done a really good job of handling that, I think. Like now she can't really help us on the court. She's using her voice now. You can hear her voice in practice. She's doing a good job of making sure the energy level is where it needs to be. She has suggestions for me throughout the game, and I listen because she's been a part of the program for the last 4 years, and she knows exactly what I'm looking for. I can't thank her enough. I hate that she didn't finish the way that she wanted to on the court with us right now, but she's doing a really good job of using her voice and not being selfish about her individual, like not being able to be out there herself, but now she's thinking more about the team. thinking more about the team. And I'll move on to Avery Lockwood. Avery's been a huge part of us for the last 4 years. Started a lot of games, played a lot of minutes, a ton of rebounds in there. Has really been the backbone of the team. You know, she's played that 5 spot for us the last 3 years. Started at that spot, and it's something that I know I can count on every game. Avery's going to rebound the ball for us. She's going to be a presence down there for us. And we're really going to miss her, not just on the court, but in the locker room as well. And Melvia Seymour came to us 3 years ago. She transferred from a community college, and she just fit right in with us. Like, she fits right in with the way we want to play. She's meshed with the girls well. And just watching her grow off the court has been really big. You know, seeing the person that she's turned into since she came to campus 3 years ago, it's big for us. You know, that's what the program is about, you know, growing not just on the court, but off the court as well. Going to really miss all 3 of them. They've all put their imprint on the program, and hopefully they come back to games, like come back to homecomings and come back to check on the team from time to time.
Outstanding. Well, and the good news is there's more opportunities to get to see these student athletes in action. You know, the Tornadoes did play another game worth mentioning as well on Sunday. That was a makeup game from a game canceled earlier in the season. Maryville won that one 75-71. Do you want to touch on that real quick, Coach?
Yeah. It's a game feel where I thought, like, to me, in my opinion, if we score 71 points at home, we got to win that game. That's a game we got to come up with. No matter what we have to do, if we put that many points on the board at home, we can't give up more than that. And I thought our defense kind of let us down, especially in the third, early fourth quarter. We put them in the bonus pretty early in the fourth quarter, and I want to say around like 6:41 to be exact. I remember looking at the clock, and we committed our 5th foul, so they were shooting free throws the rest of the way, and that was a big part of our undoing in that game. But our transition defense and the fouls is what I think was our undoing. I thought we played well enough offensively. We got the shots. Destiny had a huge game. She was tremendous. 8 steals. I don't know if that's up there with any kind of record or anything, but I know it's pretty close. You get 8 steals, that's getting it done. We had Callie played well. Avery played well. I think Journey played well off the bench. So offensively, we were right there. It was just the defensive end that let us down. We haven't said that too many times about this group. Usually we can be okay defensively and kind of make people feel us a little bit. But they were a little bit too efficient with their stuff. We didn't disrupt them as much as I would like to see. But a game that we still played well enough to win, in my opinion. We just didn't go our way.
Yeah, you mentioned Destiny Williams, 26 points, and that's the 16th time she's eclipsed the 20-point mark in her career. And the 8 steals, that's the 3rd time she's done that in a game in her career. Pretty phenomenal. She's knocking on the door for the career school record in steals as well. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. Meanwhile, Tornadoes have locked up the 4th spot in the USA South Conference West Division. They're awaiting still their opponent and also the specifics as far as game time and the official bracket coming out from USA South Conference. But we know the Tornadoes will be hosting on Saturday a USA South Conference West Division first round matchup. Coach, but first, a trip to Huntington in Montgomery, Alabama tomorrow. I know, you can't overlook this game at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something that I always try to state to the girls. We can't try to get up that staircase without taking this one step at a time. You'll trip over that step right in front of you trying to get to the ones above it. So tomorrow's going to be tough. And that's a long trip to try to do in one day and come right back and be at your best. But we'll be up for it. One good thing about it is we're getting a few bodies back. We were kind of hit with COVID maybe 2 weeks ago. And I think those kids are coming out of quarantine through their return to play process, and they should be able to join us tomorrow. So that's going to help with our depth and our legs and things like that. But it's going to be a game where it's going to be tough at their place. We've never won there. We've never beat them there. Every time we've beaten that team, it's been at our place. So that's something that we're going to go in and try to do tomorrow. We know exactly what they're going to do. They know exactly what we're going to do. We just played them on Saturday, Phil. So it's going to be a quick turnaround for both teams. We're going to give it our best shot. Hopefully we come back with a win.
Yeah, and after that thriller Saturday, who knows what's in the card for a rematch between these two heavyweights.
Exactly. Should be a good game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, Coach, like we've been mentioning, we're encouraging NATO Nation, just watch the social media and the website carefully. We'll be announcing all the details about this Saturday's first round matchup shortly. But final message from you, Coach, to NATO Nation. We really want to pack the Bosch come Saturday.
Yeah, as always, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. The support that we feel throughout the school, the community, it's through the roof. It's off the charts. And I want to make sure everybody understands that we appreciate it. And if everybody can come out Saturday and pack those stands and make a little noise for us, it would be highly appreciated. I think this is I know it's the first time in a while that the women's team has hosted a postseason game. I don't know when the last time was. It hasn't happened under me. So this is definitely a step in the right direction for us. We want to continue to try to take those small steps and see where it gets us. But if everybody can come out and support, it would be hugely appreciated.
Yeah, a very exciting team to watch, as evidenced by that big win over Huntington this past weekend, and big opportunity. The stakes will be that much higher come this weekend, Saturday, when the Tornadoes host a postseason affair. Coach, best of luck on that road trip to Huntington. We'll see you back here at the Bosch. Thanks for joining the program this evening.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Phil. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, there he goes, head coach Donald Hudson from the women's basketball team. Well, want to thank you for tuning in this evening. Want to encourage you to come on out to a home game this week at Brevard College. Tomorrow, softball will be in action, a doubleheader versus Pfeiffer. By the way, the JV men's basketball team will be in action on Wednesday, a 6 p.m. matchup versus Combine Academy at the Bosch. And then Saturday, a loaded potato of a day for NATO Nation. All starts off at 10 a.m. Women's lacrosse versus Sweetbriar. That's at Islamel Family Field, the season opener for the women's lacrosse team. 1 o'clock, the Tornadoes will have the first pitch of another baseball series. This is against Washington and Lee at Gilcone Field. 2 p.m. Saturday, men's basketball, senior day at the Bosch. That's against LaGrange. 2 p.m. as well, men's lacrosse will be hosting Ferrum at Islamel Family Field in their season opener. And then, as we mentioned, the USA South Conference first round matchup for the women's basketball team at the Bosch. Stay tuned to bctornadoes.com and BC Tornadoes on social media. We'll have the time and the opponent for that one in the next couple of days here. Sunday, baseball continues its series at versus Washington Lee at Gilcone Field. That's a 1 p.m. start. And then there's a game on Monday afternoon for baseball as well, if you want to check that one out. Game 3 of that series versus Washington Lee. We'll want to thank all of our guests this evening from the sports of women's lacrosse, men's basketball, and women's basketball for joining the program. I also want to thank producers Joseph Marvin and Abby Pardee, and want to thank you, NATO Nation, for tuning in for another edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes!